Welcome, yogis. Jacqueline here with a heart-opening chair yoga flow. Before we get started, I do want to make sure that you'll have the props that you need for this practice. We'll do a forward bend towards the end. So we might want to have a couple of yoga blocks that we can fold to reach to, or you might even grab another chair. And I'll show you once we get there how we'll utilize those props. For us to get started today, we'll just get comfortable in our seat. So go ahead and get yourself settled in. You do want to make sure that your feet are flat on that surface beneath you. So the yoga blocks can also be really well if you're short like me and your feet don't quite reach. Now notice your posture. How are you sitting? I want you to try to sit up in an upright, relaxed way. And as you do this, I want you to really start to turn your attention inward. So often throughout our day, our attention is pulled outward in every direction. We are pulled by our desires, the things that we want and the things that we want to avoid. However, in a yoga practice, we seek to do the opposite of that. We actively turn our attention inward. And so you might even go ahead and close your eyes here. And starting with the most outer layer, the physical body, becoming more aware of your posture. This is a practice today focused on opening up around the heart. Let's get really situated in our seat. We want to feel grounded and stable through the hips and the sitting bones. I want you to see if you can get your lower back muscles maybe relax just a little bit here. Softening your hip crease. And then notice now the mid to upper back. The ribs might draw in ever so slightly so that you're not overarching your lower back here. And we want to connect in with some of our upper back muscles right behind your heart. And just ever so slightly feel those upper back muscles gently lift the heart up here. Notice how this feels. Notice this alignment you've created. And we'll continue to cultivate that inner awareness as we listen to a mantra here today. This is the So-Hum mantra. You repeat this silently to yourself with every in-breath, so, and with every out-breath, hum. So, hum. So, hum. And just continue to repeat that mantra silently here. We don't have to know the deeper meaning to experience the effects, the softening around the heart. So, hum. Let yourself move into these deeper inner layers of being. Discovering that sweetness within. One more time here. So hum. And slowly we'll pull our toes, move the fingers, and flutter open the eyes. Alright, we're going to start with some cactus arm movements. So just to continue working around the heart. Bring the palms together here. Relax the shoulders and find that nice upright sitting posture. Begin to lift your elbows. And maybe the elbows come together in front of you. They don't have to connect. But you might try to align your elbows with your shoulders if that feels okay for you today. You can always have the elbows a little lower. And as we breathe in, we're going to open the arms up into cactus position. So elbows are out by the sides. We've got this nice openness across the collarbones. And I want you to really connect into that area here. Widen across the chest. Relax the shoulders. Take another in breath. And as you breathe out, you're going to bring the hands together, elbows together in front of you. And we'll repeat that for a few rounds as we inhale, opening up the cactus. And as you exhale, palms joining back together. Let's move through about 5 more of these. Really focus on that heart opening experience of the inhale. Soften. Relax with your exhale. You've got a couple more here. And as the hands come back together, you can just relax, hands down to your lap. Let's take our left hand and come to grab onto the chair. Take the right arm, lift it up. We're going to start to come into a side bend. I want you to lean over a little bit towards your left hand and then kind of relax your ear towards your shoulder. Once you've done that, that right arm is going to swing over to the left side. There's several ways that we can come into this side bend. I want the focus today to really be on kind of around the rib cage here. And so it doesn't have to be so much about that shoulder stretch. You don't have to crank the arm way up and back. In fact, you might even let your shoulders soften down a little bit in front of you and then extend through that arm so you're really getting into that side body stretch. Let's take a few rounds of breath here. As you breathe, see if you can soften around the heart. And remember that the heart's not just on the front side of the body. We can soften around the back of our heart here. We'll do another breath. And then gently coming out, releasing that right hand. And before we do the other side, I want you to just kind of sit for a moment. Observe the effects. See if you can tell a subtle difference between the right side of the body compared to the left. And another breath here, nice and easy. We'll do the same thing for the other side of the body. So it's going to be your right hand or the opposite hand holding onto the chair. Left left arm lifts up, and for this side bend, we're going to just lean a little over to the right, kind of shrug our ear towards our shoulder. That left arm starts to extend and reach to the right side. Remember, it doesn't have to be so much about lifting that shoulder up here today. Focus on really working through the heart, working through the sides of the body here, so that left shoulder might come down and the fingertips reach out. Breathe. In these postures today, the shape doesn't have to be super dramatic, super intense for us to get the experience of the pose, for us to feel the effects. Another breath or two here. And then gently coming out, lifting up and lowering that left hand down. Pausing to really absorb and enjoy the effects of the pose. We've got just a couple more that we will move through here. For this next one, it's going to be a twist. I want you to come up in your seat just a little bit so that you have some space behind you. The reason for this is that we're going to be bringing one of the hands behind us. So making a fist with your left hand, I want you to bring it right behind the tailbone here. And then your fist is going to kind of press down into your chair. Your elbow is going to be bent. Your right hand is going to come to your left thigh. And right now you should have both of the arms bent, and what we're going to do is use our arms here to help us twist. So take a deep breath in. Now as you breathe out, continue to bend your arms and gently start to rotate, turning to the left side here. So it doesn't have to be this big cranking motion of the spine. It's really subtle, really gentle. And the reason for this is we're really wanting to get into those deeper layers of the body. So we want to get right in behind the heart, deep into the spine. Couple of breaths here. And your neck can be in any position, so you don't have to crank your head. It feels more comfortable to have your head a little more forward. That's okay. Take a couple of breaths before you release. Again, just pause in the middle as you come out. See if you can notice the feeling. Notice those subtle differences. Notice behind your heart. We're going to do the same thing for the other side. So you're going to make a fist with that right hand, bring it behind the tailbone. Left hand comes to the right thigh. Your elbows are bent, and it's the arms that are going to help you twist here. You're going to go nice and gentle, turning to the right. And find that position for your neck that feels appropriate. And we just breathe. I think especially when it comes to this heart opening aspects of our practice, the more subtle, the more gentle that we can approach it, the more we'll get the benefit, the more we'll get the experience. We don't open our heart by taking an aggressive or dogmatic approach. What my teacher says, start in a simple way, in an easy way, and it'll take you all the way. Begin to gently release. Begin just noticing behind the heart here. Maybe a feeling of a little bit more lightness, ease, and openness. And so let's come back into our cactus arm flow, bringing the hands together, the elbows lifted up. As you breathe in, the arms open. And as you exhale, hands come together. Now I just want you to see how it might feel different here after this last couple of poses to open us up around the heart. Can we tell any difference in the upper body? Do we feel a little lighter, a little more at ease? It's okay if it doesn't happen immediately. Stick with your practice, it'll happen over time. Let's do one more round. And then letting your hands fall back down onto your lap. So one of the last poses that we'll do is that seated forward bend. And I'm going to rotate my chair for this, as well as grabbing another one. There's also the option too of just using some blocks. So once you've gotten yourself set up with either some blocks in front of you or even a chair in front of you, we're just going to come back to sitting. And as you might be able to guess from here, the way that we're coming into this forward bend today, if you have another chair in front of you, you're going to find length in your spine. Come to prop your upper arms on the back of the chair here. You might even cross the arms and rest your forehead. Or alternatively, if you feel that it is in your practice today, you might have the hands simply reach towards the blocks. Since I'm using the blocks for my feet, I'm going to grab another set. So your blocks could be turned to a taller setting. You can be folding to reach over to that. And you might even try both to see which one feels the most appropriate for you today. Keep in mind the theme of our practice has been opening up around our heart. So if you come into the pose in a variation that feels like it creates a lot of intensity, a lot of tension around the upper back, around the heart, you might want to try one of these other approaches to seated forward bend. Maybe just have your hands on your lap. That's another good variation. No right or wrong way to do it. Let's take 8 breaths here today. You can even do so hum with your breathing. Soften around your heart. This is a forward bend, so we're mindful as we come out. We don't want to just pop ourselves up really quickly. We'll slowly start to lift our head and take your time, kind of step by step. Pulling yourself out of the posture back to an upright seat. Feel free to get comfortable here, scooting back, relaxing. Maybe the palms turning upward here for that extra active surrender and take all that we get, anything that helps us to let go. And allow your eyes to soften and close. Noticing where your awareness is and how we've been able to cultivate that inner awareness through this practice today. And with that internal awareness, we can find our heart, not just the physical heart, but the emotional, the spiritual heart. And we can soften and relax around those inner layers of being, allowing ourselves to experience a feeling of inner peace. With your breathing, inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. Blessings to you. Namaste.